Now, the cousin of Carmel Gat, one of the hostages found dead in Gaza on Saturday, penned an emotional tribute for her on Sunday. Gil Dickman posted on X saying, "Sorry, Carmeli. Sorry we didn't stop when it was still possible. Sorry we let them kill you." He also said, "I wish you saw how your friends fought to bring you back alive." He also wrote that, "I wish that in your memory, thousands would come out to demonstrate tonight, just as I would have done, as you would have done." 40-year-old Gat was taken hostage by Hamas on October 7th while staying at her parents' home. And Gil Dickman joins me now live from Tel Aviv. Thank you so much for your time. And can I first begin by saying how sorry I am, Gil, for your loss, and sorry too for the suffering that your family has been through for the past 11 months, only for it to end this way.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. We can't really believe that this is how it ends. We didn't want it to end like this. We wanted another ending for this horrible story. You know, Carmel wasn't the only hostage from the family. Her mother was murdered on October 7th by the terrorists, and her sister-in-law, Yarden Roman, was also taken hostage. And she was returned, she was brought back home on the 54th day of the war, thanks to a ceasefire that was signed between Israel and Hamas. And we really hoped that a very similar ceasefire would be signed between the two sides. But we found out that it was very, very hard to bring the two sides to sign the deal. Hamas is a terror organization. I have no expectations from this horrible, this horrible figure, Yahya Sinwar, to sign the deal that will actually bring my cousin home. But we know that Hamas has agreed to a deal at some point, and Israel was the one putting on more and more terms and actually postponing the deal. And right now, we know the decisions that our Prime Minister Netanyahu has made it impossible for Carmel and other hostages to return and put their lives in great danger. And that's what killed them.
Hamas has said that the hostages would be alive if it weren't for the actions of the Israeli government. Who do you blame, Gil, for the death of Carmel?
This blame game is a game to me. And when I'm here for life and death, it's no game. It's both sides who are to blame. It's first of all the terror organization who took her and all of the hostages. They shouldn't have taken her. She is an innocent civilian, and she wasn't supposed to be taken in the first place. A 40-year-old woman, not related in any way to not to the army and not to anything else. She was supposed to be at home with her family, and she was taken just like kids and other innocent people were taken. And I blame, of course, I blame Hamas, and I also blame my government because these are the people that should be in charge of the security and the peace of people in Israel. These are the people who are supposed to be responsible for the life of people here. And they were responsible for the lives of all the hostages. And they decided cold bloodedly, they voted just a few days ago that the Philadelphia, the border between Gaza and Egypt, is more important than the lives of the hostages. And that means that our government has decided that they're willing to sacrifice the lives of the hostages. They all voted, the cabinet voted for it, and we were shocked. And we said, me and my sister and all my family and all the families of all the hostages, we said, this is crossing the red line, and that would mean the death of hostages. And saying this, I did not know how true it will be and how specific and personal it is going to become. And it was Carmel. It could have been anyone else, but it was Carmel. And the lives of all the other hostages are still in danger. So we must act now. The Israeli government and the Israeli people chose to act. They came out to the streets last night, and they're out in the streets right now, and it's very moving. I'm sorry that we had to go through this horrible situation in order for them to get out, but they did, and I really hope that the government our government will make the right decision and push for a deal that'll bring the hostages home. It's been too long.
And that was what you were calling for in your tribute to Carmel Gil. You were calling on people to come out and demonstrate in her memory, and they have done that. We've seen tens of thousands of people take to the streets. We're reporting on nationwide protests, nationwide strike today. Do you feel that this is a turning point we're witnessing here?
I really hope that this is the turning point or a breaking point or some kind of a change in reality, which will maybe help the government make the right decision. But if it's just a one-time thing, it was reported to be the largest protest or demonstration in the history of Israel. This is very moving, and I know that Carmel can't see this, but I know that's exactly what she would have wanted, for people to come out and to demand the release of the other hostages. It's too late for her, but it's not too late for them. And I hope that they're not that the government is not just going to look away and to choose death over life, because this is not what we believe here in Israel, and that's not what we believe this war is about. You know, you're giving a lot of airtime to this war because of things that are going on both sides of the border. People think it's Israel versus Palestine or Jews versus Muslims. This is and has always been a fight between people who believe in life and who choose life and who choose a ceasefire that'll bring the hostages home, over the people who believe in death and choose death. And I know that the organization that kidnapped Carmel and that murdered her mother chose death. They believe that death is sacred. But
Yeah.
I still can't believe that my government chose death. And I urge you, Benjamin Netanyahu, choose life. Please sign the deal, seal the deal, go to ceasefire, and save the hostages that you can still save.
I understand that your family had a chance to speak to the president over the weekend, that he reached out to you and wanted to talk, but you refused. Why did you do that? And what do you make of Benjamin Netanyahu's actions in all of this?
Well, Prime Minister Netanyahu has made it public that he's going to approach the families in order to speak to them. Then he decided that he gave us the message that he wants to speak to us. We don't want to be a part of this media circus of the Prime Minister Netanyahu, who's now using the murder of the hostages in order to justify staying there and not getting out and going to a ceasefire and signing a deal, which is unbelievable to me. He's trying to use this, saying, if you murdered the hostages, you don't want a deal. And I didn't want to take part in this. We didn't want to take part in this. The family, Carmel's family, believe that the Prime Minister of Israel is responsible for her death. He is her killer. That's the fact. He didn't pull the trigger, but he left her there knowing that that means she's in life danger, death danger. And knowing these risks, this is actually it's killing. And we don't want to talk to him, and to we I don't feel like he could be convinced by a conversation heart to heart. I spoke to him, I saw him and how he reacted to hostages who came back from captivity and spoke about what they went through there. It doesn't look like it moved him. I don't feel like his heart is open to this kind of conversation. I think he only understands the language of politics. That's maybe something that happens to you after so many years in your job. Everything becomes politics. Even the life and death of people becomes pure math of whether it will bring me more support or less support, where it would let him stay in power or lose power. And if that's what it is, then that's the language that we should speak to him. Must go out to the streets and protest in our democratic way. And this is not an anti-Israeli thing to do. The exact opposite. This is the most Israeli thing to do. We came out with Israeli flags and with hostages, yellow flags, to tell him the democratic thing to do. If you want to stay in power, if you want to have any legitimacy to act in our name, save their lives and sign the deal now.